Welcome to Shrink Wrap. My name is Stephen Philip Katz. I'm a marriage and family therapist here in Hawaii. And you're in for a great show today because my friend from the beach and all-around wonderful person who's done just about anything you can think of is Robyn Bennett. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, Robyn, so as I was saying before we started, where are you from?
From New York, Long Island.
Long Island.
That one-word place.
What town?
Great Neck.
Great Neck.
I don't admit that to many people, but yes.
Oh, thank you. Because you know I would pry and find out.
Right.
So how did you end up here?
Oh my gosh, long journey. Started college in Boston, after New York, Long Island. Boston took me to New York City. New York City took me to LA. LA landed me here.
That doesn't really answer my question. But what's the last part? What made you decide to move to Hawaii? I'm always curious about that. That's always an interesting story.
Great story, actually. I was fortunate enough to come to Hawaii for a very long time, every month of December, because I was in a business that everything would shut down. So I've been to all the islands and always connected on a very deep level. And I have two beautiful daughters, and when they kind of flew the coop, and I like to say open nest instead of empty nest, I had this aha moment because unfortunately my parents are no longer on earth, and someone came to me and said, how do you want to live the next 20, 25 years? And it just felt like Hawaii was where I wanted to be. So I just sold everything and moved here.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're pretty courageous.
That's what people tell me, but it just felt so clear to me.
But I guess you knew some people from having come here.
Not really.
No?
No.
Wow.
Just knew I loved it here and would thrive here.
And so tell us what you do here.
So I started out coming here figuring I would have a lot of time off, and then got here and realized I'd like to do something. So I continued my life coaching practice. I have a life coaching practice still in Los Angeles, and I do phone sessions from here. And then I went and saw a gentleman by the name of Dan Buettner speak. And Dan Buettner, for the last 10 years, has been researching what's been termed the blue zones. And these are 5 places on the planet where people are living well into their hundreds. They're happy, they're healthy, and there's clusters of them in these 5 zones. So for 10 years, he has gone and immersed himself in these zones and come up with what is it about these areas that people are living so long, and not only the longevity part, but that they're happy, healthy, thriving, and functioning, and a part of community. So then he's trying to bring that back to the United States, and it just so happens that one of those areas is right here in Hawaii, and it was a bidding war for most of the cities. And this one won, and I happen to be in it, and so there you go. That's how the universe provides.
Well, what do you mean a bidding war? A bidding war for
By
what?
the cities to try to become a blue zone. And so he's picking cities very carefully and slowly because it's a 5-year project.
Originally there were no blue zones in the United States?
There's actually one in Loma Linda, believe it or not.
Where people live old and happy.
Yes, and that is because there's a huge population of Seventh-day Adventists. They're vegetarian. They take the Sabbath, which is Saturday, off. There's lots of reasons, why, and
that's the next question, why, right?
Right. So there's 9 what they call power reasons or power steps as to why people are living longer, and one of them is finding your purpose. And so they have trained me. I went back to get certified to become a Life Purpose Workshop Facilitator. And so that's what I'm doing on the island.
So you're doing workshops here?
Yes. They send me into companies. And I teach their employees or start their employees on a process of finding their purpose. Because they have proven through the research over the 10 years in these zones that if you find your purpose, you're literally adding 7 years to your life.
Plus, I would imagine those years would be more fulfilling, happier,
Exactly.
all those good things.
Yes.
So how do you get people to find their purpose?
Well, it's a 2-hour process, to be honest with you.
Right.
But
Can you do it for me now in 15 minutes?
But there's one basic formula that, when you ask me that, if I could shrink wrap it down.
All right.
And that is your gifts plus your passions plus your values equal your purpose. So your gifts are something that you're really good at and you don't even think about doing. And then
talking to people, listening to people.
Right. And then your passion is something like you have this deep fire in your belly that, you feel really strongly about. And then your values can be your moral values or, what you would put your hard-earned cash down for.
What you think is important.
What you think is important. And those three seem to equal your purpose. So we go through a process of determining each of those for each person. There's a workbook that, I give out. There's a deck of cards that gives you ideas on what gifts are. It's not the kind that Santa brings.
Right.
And so people identify their gifts, and it's a very intense process. And if people are open to it, they really come out of it starting a draft of their purpose statement. And then hopefully they go further and make it actionable after they leave my workshop.
So most of the work you do is with companies rather than with individuals? I mean, you work with individuals within the companies, I assume.
I can. The individuals would be more of my practice, my life coaching. But the actual, for the Blue Zone project, they hire me to go into companies and, I guess, engage with groups of people.
So you would go into Hawaiian Electric or the Department of Education and do a thing with mostly large groups or small groups?
Well, it's been all over the board, actually. Like my largest group was with Job Corps, and that was like 80 people in the audience.
Those are people that work for Job Corps?
Correct. All Job Corps. They all knew each other, which was great because there's a lot of participation. And so they all really supported each other so beautifully. Whereas some of the groups that I've gone into, it's open to the public. It's offered free to the public, which is lovely. Yeah, and because they're really trying to create this Blue Zone here.
Wait, who sponsors it if it's free to the public?
Well, it's sponsored locally by Healthways and HMSA.
No kidding?
Yeah.
So if you have HMSA, you can do this?
It has nothing to do with whether you have it or not. It's open to the public, literally. And they post it on their bluezone.com website. And there's lots of opportunities for volunteering, and there's free cooking classes, and there's free farm tours, and there's My Purpose.
For anybody?
Yeah, for anybody that wants to join. And it's free. All these things are offered free.
What's there? Where do you find this? No, really, free.
TheBlueZonesProject.com.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
so it's all through the Blue Zones Project.
It's all
so is the Blue Zones Project a nonprofit or a for-profit or?
I believe it's a nonprofit.
Oh, wow. And so.
And also, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but Dan Buettner is a fellow of National Geographic, and that's how the whole thing started, and AARP. And they funded his 10 years of research. And the research is amazing.
Yeah, I remember seeing there's a book, right? The Blue
There's
Zones, right?
6 books. He's written already about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did you first come to be part of it?
I love the way the universe works. I really just had set some very strong intentions for myself, and then had the opportunity to go see him speak locally when he did the kickoff for it here, and went over to him afterwards and just introduced myself and said, I love what you do. It's so aligned with who I am and how I like to live my life. And how can I get involved? And he said, well, what do you do? And I told him, and he gave me the name of somebody to contact. And it literally took me 8 months to get it all signed, sealed, and delivered, but boom, it worked.
All right, so here's my question. What I'm
Okay.
picking up from you is that this is a pattern for you, like from what I've read about the rest of your life.
Okay.
Like you said, I set an intention,
Right.
Which is, most people don't even do that. But what's more impressive is not that you set an intention, but you set an intention and then you take action.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
Everybody makes a New Year's Eve resolution.
Right,
It's like,
right.
But it's what,
Correct.
What do you think it is that makes you one of those people that does that? Why? Because there's all of us schleps out here in the world that mean to do this. I really meant to clean the windows last weekend, but
Right.
I didn't get around to it. But I really meant to send in my resume. I really meant to give this speech. And you seem to be very successful at everything you do.
Thank you.
From what I've read. Why?
I think I'm just a very disciplined person and very focused, and I have
Where'd you get that?
real clarity on what I want in my life and even what I don't want, which makes me know what I want. And I think that's part of what I do in my practice is try to help my clients get focused on what they want and what makes them happy. And I always move in that direction of, if it makes me feel good and makes me happy and feels aligned with my values and
But you said you're a very disciplined person,
I am.
right? A lot of people aren't, but would like to be.
right.
You just born that way? Was your mother really strict, or why do you
I
think you
think
were?
my dad probably had a lot to do with it. He was very disciplined. And it was a generation where there was, I don't
What
think
did your dad do?
he was a CPA. And my mom was a CPA, and my 3 sisters are CPAs.
Whoa!
So that's, I think, why I started there and then realized I didn't like what I was doing and just gave it up and got in the music business. The partner in charge thought I was crazy.
But you had already done, like you said, you did this thing where you were putting up posters, right? You were still a CPA then?
Yeah, I was working
That was just for fun.
on the weekends, yeah, because I just loved music so much.
Right. So you had your regular job, your
Right.
day job.
Right, and then on the
you did what
weekends-
you loved.
Right,
to
on the
be-
weekends.
And then you figured out how to make what you love what you do for a living.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's part of the Life Purpose Workshop, by the way. So you've tapped right into, that's the whole idea. In a perfect world, people should be doing what they're great at and what they have heart for and what they love.
But who's going to pick up the garbage?
That's, I'm sure there's people that, garbage
Love
men
that.
that love what they're doing.
Right, right. Or, they love the fact that they finish at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and then can go do what they
Right.
love. Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, that's key. I mean, as a therapist, part of my job and your job as a life coach also is helping people figure out what they love
Right.
and then how to get it and how to spend more of their time in life doing
And
that.
take action steps, even
Right.
if they're baby steps. I actually encourage baby steps because my thought is it's like 3-foot tosses. If you do 3-foot tosses, you'll win every time. But if you go for the leap, the huge leap, you have a better chance of failure. So little
3-foot
steps.
tall, like I'm thinking basketball? That
Or
kind of tosses?
I think of like those little rings that you.
Yeah, or little putts.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I used to teach special ed, right? So you have your
Ah.
little, what we used to call that, what did we call that? Like sort of a step analysis, task analysis, right? Where you break everything down into little tiny steps.
Right.
So they're manageable, right?
Correct.
Like I would sometimes, I remember when I was a little kid, my first success was I taught myself how to wiggle my ears. I mean, I stood in front of the mirror for probably 6 months every day, a little bit, to
What a
see.
goal.
But it's success, right?
Right,
It's
that's
like,
the
wow,
key.
there
If
was
you
something
make it-
I had no idea I could ever really do, but hey, what the hell got to lose?
Right. Right.
She says to me, you're not, here you go. Can you catch that? There you go. I can only do the right
So
one.
talented.
And that was just too much for them all to handle. We're going to take a break. I got to catch my breath. We'll be right back with more shrink wrap.
Aloha, join us at TEDx Honolulu 2016. It's at the Blaisdell, July 9th from 10 to 5. The discount code is RACHAEL_TEDXHNL. See you then.
Hey, Stan Energy Man here. Make sure you tune in on my lunch hour every Friday from noon until 12:30 at least. Maybe I'll go a little long if you got good stuff to share with you. But we'll talk about energy, all kinds of energy. My favorite is hydrogen, and my other favorite is transportation and hydrogen. But we'll talk about all kinds of energy. Be with us every Friday at noon, Stan Energy Man. Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Danelia, Danelia.
And I'm the other half of the duo, John Newman. Welcome.
We are co-hosts of a show called Keys to Success, which is live on the Think Tech Live Network series, weekly on Thursdays at 11 a.m.
We're looking forward to seeing you then.
Aloha!
Discipline and work.
Hi, welcome back to Shrink Wrap. She was just discipline and work. That's what she was telling me. So, Robyn, you were saying that that generation, your parents' generation, were
Correct.
all about. So, was that because they came out of the Depression, or what do you
Correct. Yes, my father used to refer to not having food in the refrigerator and, nickel hot dog at Coney Island.
Right.
And so he had that poverty consciousness, I call it. And, 4 daughters, and none of us feel like we were ever hugged or kissed. It wasn't that kind of a generation. It wasn't a very loving generation. It was more about work ethics and discipline and lists of chores before you could go out and on and on and on of that nature.
But I mean, today they would not say that that's the greatest way to grow up, but it seems to have worked very well for you with no hugging and kissing. That part I know.
I don't know. I'm still working on that. It shows up every once in a while.
So, are you close with your sisters?
I am.
Yeah. Are they still CPAs?
2 out of the 4.
What'd the other one do?
Let's see. My oldest sister has 2 seats on the stock exchange.
Seriously?
Seriously.
So she didn't do badly?
No, not so bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was your father that successful too?
He was. He had, from absolute nothing, from total poverty, he had accounts like the Nets, the Jets, and the Mets, and Time Magazine, and this Pictorial, which was the printing of.
So maybe the right question was not how are you so disciplined. You've answered that one. You didn't have a choice.
Right. It's true. That's a really great way.
Do your homework, or
Right.
Right. You'll find out why.
Right. I always felt like he gave me things just so he could take them away, so he'd have some value.
Oh wow!
Right.
How did he get that? I mean, because some people have poverty thrust upon them and get stuck there.
Right.
He had, and your mother, I assume, too,
Right.
because she was also
They
a CPA.
were, and they
were
were
partners?
partners in the
Wow.
firm. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's difficult sometimes.
And she was the only woman in all her accounting classes in college and most of her classes in college period.
Oh, so she set a good
So
example
she,
for you then.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
But do you know what it was about that gave your dad that drive to succeed?
The only thing I can come up with is that he was born that way, and he had to because he supported his parents. It was that generation where you supported both sides. And he
Were his
saw,
parents from the old country?
Yes. Yes, and I think that they had so little that he stepped up and took control of the family, and he had a brother and a sister that he supported, and
He was the oldest?
Yes.
Are you the oldest?
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest?
baby, yeah.
Oh, wow. So, is that nice, to be the baby?
I don't know. I guess. I've never been anything else, so I can't really compare it.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you get, well, it doesn't sound like you got treated any, milder because you were the baby.
Want to have a therapy session?
I can't help it. So, you sound like you really love what you do.
I do. I have such heart for it, and I am so grateful that I found it because I really feel like it's me, just being able to be what I am and align with really everything I believe in and be able to help other people hopefully find that.
So can we do some role play? That's what I love to do.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to play like a life coaching
Okay.
client.
Okay.
Okay? And I'll fall back into, my first love was the theater. All right? So Robyn, I was in New York then. I want to be an actor, and I don't know I know I'm really talented, but I go to auditions and I don't seem to be getting anywhere. I just drive a cab all the time, and I'm really miserable. I need help.
Okay, so what I hear from you is that you really enjoy acting and what you want to do is
I
acting.
love acting, right.
Right.
My goal in life is to make my living as an actor and not have to drive a cab anymore.
Okay. So are you willing to go through what might be your steps to get more auditions?
I'd do anything.
And have you been able to seek out other options for getting more jobs?
I buy the trade papers every week. I
Okay.
knock on the agent's door, and
Right.
they say, "Don't knock on my door." Put my resume and picture underneath.
Right.
Right. And yeah, it's just me. It's really lonely. Right. I go to auditions, cattle calls, and there's 900 people, and maybe it's already cast, and it's very depressing. And I don't know. I think I'm good, but I don't get a chance.
Or it feels like you're not getting chances.
Yeah.
Is there anything you could do on other levels to get your name out there, to get people to know who you are, get somebody that might send you out to unadvertised auditions?
I don't know. How would I find that out?
I don't know, this is your business. What other steps can you take in that direction if you really have heart for it? And is it worth it to you if you did have to
I'll do anything.
Okay,
So, I mean, I suppose I know other people other actors. I guess I could ask them.
right?
I don't know, maybe I could start a little group.
There you go. I think that's a great idea, actually.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and support groups are really, I think, a key to us all surviving and us all thriving, is to have what we call in the Blue Zone Project a sounding board. And these are people that you can rely on to speak to bounce ideas off of. Maybe some of them are like catalysts that kind of push you
Yeah. Because
beyond
it just
your
feels
comfort
so
zone.
alone. Like it's just me and the newspaper and
Right.
and yeah, I don't. It would be great because I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. No, I think that would be great for you to show up, and even though they might be quote unquote your competition.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wonder, would they be afraid to share what they know but I'm sure there's other people like me that are really
Right. And I don't
lost.
think it is really competition, because most of them casting directors are looking for what they're looking for.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I don't look like you. We wouldn't be at the same park.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
But if you have really heart for it, then you just keep moving in that direction. And I would encourage you to really think about what you can do to continue in that direction. And yeah, it becomes like no matter what.
But I have to admit that sometimes I just get depressed and I just don't want to bother. Like, I won't go.
So what does that feel like?
Crap.
Where does it show up in your body?
It feels tired. It makes me feel tired. Yeah. Like, I try to go running every day, but sometimes I can't get out of bed. Yeah, it's really hard. I don't know what to do about that.
Keep running. No, because that's
Just do
really,
it.
yeah, I think that, our physical side of it can release a lot of that negative energy that you're terming depression. And do you meditate at all?
Yeah, I have, sometimes.
Because that, I think, is a really great tool that's where you can set great intentions on how to move forward.
What's that? Setting intentions.
Okay, it's really being grounded in what your goals are, where you're headed, what you want to do with your life, how do you want to spend your days?
Yeah, now that you mention it, I used to do this thing. Well, I still do. When I run around Central Park. I'm pretending I'm in New York. And I used to end my run every day by pounding on the doors of the New York Shakespeare Festival, right? And I'd say, let me in,
Right.
sort of declaring my intentions every day. And I did that for a year, and I ended up with a job as an intern at the New Jersey Shakespeare Festival.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, well, it's really not the place I was asking for, but it's close.
Right. That's the thing also. You need to be really specific with the universe.
Oh, yeah.
Because it doesn't understand, what you meant to say.
Right.
You have to be really clear about everything.
Yeah, all right, so I'm going to drop the role play for a second
Okay.
and tell you a real story that happened
Okay.
to me, talking about being really clear. Yeah. So I did that, and that really happened.
Okay.
With the Shakespeare Festival thing.
Fantastic.
Right? And then I started seeing a shrink,
Okay.
and it's kind of like a life coach. And I said to him, I don't know how we're going to know if this therapy thing is going to work. So I've come up with this idea. Would you accept these terms? And I said, I'll see you for a year. At the end of the year, if I'm making a living as an actor, we'll say it worked. And if I'm not, I'll either go to a different therapist or give up.
Right.
And of course he said, okay, what's he got to lose,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I'm still going to pay.
He'll deal with it at the year mark. Why deal with it now?
So at the end of about 8 months, I got a job with a New England children's theater company, touring all over New England for 9 months. And
Fantastic.
not only was I going to be an actor in the company, I was going to be the manager because I was the oldest at like 26. But I wasn't clear enough in my intention because I got the job. I bought a motorcycle, rode up to Providence, Rhode Island. On the second day of rehearsal, a car hit me while I was on my motorcycle and I
Oh.
broke my ankle. Now, I should have specified and let me keep the job and let me not break my ankle or some
Right,
stupid
right,
thing like
right.
that. Like, let not break your leg be a true thing. Yeah, but here's the good part, right? There's always a good part.
There's always
if
a
you
blessing.
look for it, right?
Yep.
If that hadn't happened, I never would have found my wife and moved to Hawaii.
Ah, what a beautiful blessing.
Right. And whoops. It was, yes, in a way it was a blessing or a good thing that
Meant to
came
be,
out of
or?
you know, of course at the time, you know, I was like, I wasn't suicidal, but I was not happy. You know, I had sublet my apartment in New York. I had to go kick him out. He wasn't happy. It had a lot
Right.
of, yeah. So what I see you doing is you listen and try to figure out how to get people to get what they want.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tools. Like another tool I highly recommend and I love to tell people about is to just sit down and journal. Just write. Don't even have anything in your mind when you sit down. But just write. It's amazing what comes out.
I do that. I learned that from The Artist's Way. There's this thing they call the morning pages. Every
Okay.
morning you write 3, just write without, and if you don't know what to write, I don't know what to write until it changes.
Right, right.
Right. So how does somebody get you as a life coach? Because I could see you're great at it.
Oh, thank you.
How
for saying
do
that.
they find you?
They find me on my phone. I don't have a website yet. I'm thinking about putting one up since I moved here.
Do you want to put your phone number out into the universe or not yet?
Sure.
All right.
So the place to reach me would be, it's an area code 323 356
Yep.
3244.
Okay.
And I also have an email address, but that would be a good first step.
What's the email?
Robyn with a Y, middle initial K like King, Bennett like Tony, but no relation, 2 N's and 2 T's at Gmail.
And that's it for today. Call Robyn and you'll have a great life. Thank you very much for joining us today.